Welcome back to another video. Today I return to part 2 of my Dragon Ball review. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, then it will be linked in the description. As Goku's saga continues, he returns to Master Roshi's island for martial arts training and of course to eventually participate in the World Martial Arts Tournament. The first half of this arc is set on Roshi's island as well as another secluded island elsewhere in the world, so many of the side characters within the first arc aren't going to be present here, but to make up for that, we're introduced to Crillon, who, like Bulma, perfectly contrasts Goku's personality. Where Goku is very honest and kind-hearted, Crillon is really competitive and doesn't mind cheating to win. And he also traded a sack of porn for training from the world's strongest fighter.
Here, take them all! I don't want them anymore! Here.
Needless to say, Crillon won't be getting any rides on Goku's Nimbus Cloud, that's for sure. And of course, we're introduced to Launch. Do you remember her, Toriyama? She was originally intended to be Roshi's date. But things didn't go as planned, as we realize she has this split personality. One moment she is this kind-hearted, gentle woman who does all the housework, she's cooking and cleaning, and the next moment, if she sneezes, she transforms into a gun-toting fugitive who shoots first and asks questions later. Speaking of which, there was a scene where Launch shoots Goku, Roshi, and Crillon all in the head several times at close range. Remember this scene 100 episodes into the future, where death is supposed to be this dramatic but plausible consequence. Although the previous arc drew much of its comedy from character interaction, there was also a lot of situational humor because it was this grand adventure, but in this arc it's a bit different because there's no adventure. We have just a few settings, maybe Roshi's house or in this secluded island out in the country somewhere, so these are settings and tasks that we get used to after a while, so it directly relies on the character's interaction for the comedy, and they excel at that. We have Goku, who is just his normal, innocent self, acting like he grew up in a cave and doesn't know anything about the world, which is practically true. We have Crillon, who takes advantage of that. He balances that out by taking advantage of Goku's trust and honesty to win small gains, such as eating more food. We have Roshi, who is his normal, perverted self that makes several advances at Launch, who is too innocent to understand any of it when she's her innocent side, but when she sneezes, she attacks him because she knows what's going on. And of course, there's Turtle, who scolds Roshi for being so perverted. As the training begins, we're shown everyone's baseline of speed and strength as we see Roshi, Goku, and Crillon all participate in this quick little timed race and also pushing large boulders, which Crillon, he's not meant to be overlooked as he is abnormally strong for someone his age, even if you compare him to the average adult, but it's Goku who has this natural advantage. I also appreciated how the story presents this theme of hard work paying off, as the characters don't actually practice any martial arts, but they do these simple chores that are made much more difficult by how long it takes to complete them, and also wearing these heavy turtle shells. They'll be taking these milk bottles up a mountain, or they'll be plowing several fields a day with their bare hands. And while these chores appear to increase their endurance and speed, it's also their discipline and motivation that Master Roshi works on as well, by having them do such long chores where they really get tired of doing it and just bored with repeating the same things over and over. And Roshi also tells them about how unlikely it is for them to win the martial arts tournament, just so that they won't become bored of martial arts once they think they've mastered it. And then there was also the time when Roshi told them the secrets of surpassing human limitations. You mind telling us about that, Roshi? But then again, considering that it's him, it probably all comes down to how good of a shine he gets on his bald head. I mean, look at that thing. As they gear up for the tournament and get these awesome suits, Roshi prepares them for the possibility of defeat. But as their teacher, he knows more than anyone else that they're gonna mop the floor with everyone there. They are abnormally strong for their age, so he enters the contest as his alter ego, Jackie Chun.
Oh, well, my name's Jackie Chun. Perhaps you and I can have some coffee.
One problem that I have with many tournaments in anime, as well as many other mediums, is that the fights eventually become monotonous after a while, but thankfully, Dragon Ball doesn't have that problem, as many of these fights have different purposes. We have a few fights in the beginning, which serve to show a baseline of strength and speed for Goku and Krillin, showing how far they've come, and then there's also a fight where we learn more about Krillin's past, as he fights one of the monks from his temple, and of course there's some comedy fights, my favorite of which being Bacterian.
I'm done.
And of course, we have the introduction of Nam, who has this pretty sad backstory. As we move to the meat of the tournament, we knew all along that Goku, Roshi, and Krillin were going to have to fight each other, and needless to say, Yamcha has already been eliminated, but you gotta give credit where credit is due. He did defeat Uzaru Goku in the first arc, and he was also undefeated until he fought Master Roshi, so I'll cut him some slack. Up until now, we hadn't seen Goku or Krillin at their full potential because they knew they would probably end up killing someone by accident, so they decided to hold back. But it's when Krillin fights against Master Roshi that I was most impressed with his character. When he fights against Jackie Chun, that he stands his ground against them and causes Roshi to take the fight seriously in order to win. Of course, the main attraction is Goku versus Jackie Chun, which is my favorite fight of the entire series, but it is also the longest fight at that point, where most of them would only last a portion of an episode. This lasts 2 complete episodes. But having said that, this fight actually achieves a lot, as Goku stands his ground in front of his teacher, who he doesn't actually realize is Master Roshi at that time, and he displays this inhuman strength and speed, as well as the fruits of his master's teaching. It is downright impressive when you consider that Goku and Roshi are nearly equally matched in terms of strength and speed, when you consider that Goku still has much room to grow. This fight speaks volumes about their relationship as student and teacher, as the student has grown so much from the master's teachings that they're on par with each other, but then again, there's always this extra level of experience that the student will never have. But then it goes ahead and takes us back to the ending of the first arc, with Goku transforming into the Grade 8 mode, where Roshi fights against that. Now, I understand where they were going with this. They just wanted to have this exciting conclusion to the fight, but I think that this really distracts us from what they're actually saying about the student-teacher relationship, because it's Roshi's experience that causes him to win this fight, where he destroys the moon in a last-ditch effort to defeat Goku while not killing him. It just doesn't mean as much, because Roshi wasn't fighting against a conscious Goku. He was fighting against a wild beast. So it wasn't like he was actually fighting his own student there, even though it basically was his body. The best way I think they could handle this fight would be if Goku stayed in his original form and he fought against Jackie Chun that way, where their power and speed were on par with each other, but it's Roshi's experience that caused him to win the match in the end. This would have Goku, he would lose the match and realize that experience is also important, and he would set off to just go gain more experience. And Goku's second transformation was so convenient because Yamcha had already cut off his tail, but it just magically instantly grew back during Goku's fight with Giran. I'm not sure if there was ever too much thought put into Goku's tail anyways. It comes, it goes at random events, but this is actually the last time that Goku transforms into the Great Ape. And also, if you remember, Goku in the first arc took that, the bunny guy, the leader of that gang, up to the moon for punishment, and Roshi just killed him by destroying the moon. But then again, choices have to be made, and he was an asshole, so not that big of a deal. And even though Goku loses to Master Roshi or Jackie Chun, this is consistent with what we've seen in the first arc, where he was incapable of defeating Pilaf. In one way or another, he just didn't win. Pilaf got away, and Roshi beats him in the World Martial Arts Tournament. But this actually works, because in each of these arcs, Goku displays his strength in defeating several lesser enemies, so he doesn't appear to be incompetent, but he somehow falls short of achieving his goal, which also strengthens the element of conflict while increasing Goku's motivation to continue training. As this arc comes to a close, Goku uses all of Roshi's prize money by eating enough food for 50 people, and this is a great place to stop for today. All in all, this arc managed to change the nature of the show away from adventure to martial arts while keeping the spirit of the show and not getting bogged down in monotonous fights. I still give this arc another 9.5, bringing the average score of the anime so far at a 9.5. Even though, although Dragon Ball has been nothing but smooth sailing up until now, there are darker clouds on the horizon as we approach the Red Ribbon Army. Next time on Dragon Ball. I'm gonna start saying that. See you then. Video today, I wanted to briefly discuss something that I've been seeing in my comment section as well as all across the internet, that is